The calm of space was shattered by a message that rippled across the galaxy. It was the Galactic Council, the most powerful organization in the universe, and their declaration was nothing short of a threat. Their fleets had set their sights on Earth, and the message they sent to the planet was clear. We declare war. No one knew why the Council had suddenly chosen to target Earth, but the galaxy felt the weight of their words. For years, humanity had been a small, insignificant part of the universe, barely noticed by the powerful forces that ruled the stars. Earth was a distant, minor world in the grand scheme of things, and its people lived their lives unaware of the dangers beyond their planet. The Council's power and influence extended far beyond anything Earth had ever encountered, and the announcement was enough to send shockwaves through the planet's leaders. The leaders of Earth were in chaos. A war with the Galactic Council was something no one had ever prepared for. Their armies were small, their technology primitive compared to the advanced civilizations of the galaxy. How could they possibly stand a chance against an empire so vast and powerful? But the Council's message left them no choice. Earth had to prepare for war, even if they didn't know how to fight it. A sense of dread washed over Earth's leaders. They watched as the skies above the planet were filled with strange ships, each one more advanced and menacing than the last. The Galactic Council's fleet arrived in full force, their warships looming ominously in Earth's orbit. The people of Earth had never seen anything like this. They knew their world was about to change forever. However, amid the growing panic, there was something else, something that no one saw coming. A whisper, barely audible but growing louder, began to spread among the human population. The whispers spoke of something ancient, something hidden deep within Earth, something that even the mighty Galactic Council had overlooked. But what was this secret, and why hadn't Earth's leaders told the people about it? In the quiet corners of Earth, scientists and military commanders scrambled to understand what they were dealing with. The threat was real, but as the weeks passed, they began to notice something unusual. Some of Earth's most brilliant minds began to piece together fragments of long-forgotten history. The planet was not as defenseless as it seemed. Earth had never been truly weak. It had simply been forgotten by the rest of the galaxy. Humanity had been hiding in plain sight. For centuries, Earth had kept its most powerful secrets hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the moment when they would be needed. And now, that moment had arrived. The Council's warships were just the beginning, and Earth was about to make a stand. But no one knew how this would end. The Galactic Council was a force to be reckoned with, and they had crushed entire civilizations without breaking a sweat. How could a small, unassuming planet like Earth hope to stand against them? The humans were outnumbered, outgunned, and outmatched. Yet, deep down, humanity had something the Galactic Council couldn't possibly understand: determination. The human spirit was something that could not be easily broken. No matter the odds, the people of Earth would fight. They would fight for their homes, for their families, for their way of life, and they would not go down without a fight. As Earth's leaders met to discuss their next move, one thing became clear: they could not face the Council alone. They needed help. Desperation turned to action, and soon Earth's representatives were sending out desperate calls for aid to other parts of the galaxy. They reached out to old allies, unknown races, anyone who might stand with them against the mighty Galactic Council. But the truth was, no one knew what to expect. Would anyone come to their aid, or would Earth be left to face the Council's wrath alone? The uncertainty gnawed at humanity as they prepared for what would be the greatest conflict their planet had ever seen. Earth's armies were small, but they were determined, and they had something the Council could never predict. They were united. Every man, woman, and child would fight if it meant survival. As the Galactic Council's ships approached Earth, the people of the planet held their breath. A strange silence fell over the world. The war was coming, and there was no turning back. The Council's fleets hovered above the planet, their commanders confident in their victory. They had conquered countless worlds without breaking a sweat, and Earth seemed no different. But little did they know, humanity had a plan. one that the Council couldn't possibly anticipate. The countdown to war had begun, and the galaxy was about to witness something they had never seen before: humanity's fight for survival. The Council might have thought they were about to crush a weak and defenseless planet, but they had no idea that Earth had been quietly preparing for this moment for centuries. And as the first shots were fired, humanity's true strength was about to be revealed. The first clash between Earth and the Galactic Council was inevitable, but the outcome was uncertain. Would Earth's resistance be enough to turn the tide? Or would humanity fall before the might of the Council's empire? The battle had only just begun, and the galaxy would soon learn that humanity's fight was only starting. The first wave of the Galactic Council's fleet had entered Earth's atmosphere, and the people of Earth held their breath. The ships were unlike anything they had ever seen before: massive, sleek, and armed to the teeth. They could strike from orbit with devastating force, and humanity's defenses were pitiful in comparison. The dread of the approaching war filled every corner of Earth, but despite this, there was an undercurrent of something else: hope. While the Council's ships descended like dark shadows over the planet, the people of Earth had started to mobilize in ways they never thought possible. The military leaders scrambled to ready their forces, pulling together old equipment, making alliances with various nations, and preparing for what seemed like a hopeless battle. But Earth's leaders had one thing that the Council didn't know about: something deep beneath the surface of the planet. As the warships of the Galactic Council prepared to strike, the leaders of Earth met in secret. What they knew, and what the rest of the galaxy did not, was that Earth was far from defenseless. Hidden for centuries, beneath mountains, oceans, and in the forgotten corners of history, humanity had kept its greatest secret. The Earth had once been the home of an ancient, powerful civilization. This civilization had vanished long ago, leaving behind relics of unimaginable power. These ancient technologies were forgotten in time, buried under layers of myth and history. But Earth's greatest minds had found clues: hidden messages, long-lost blueprints, and strange artifacts that pointed to the existence of these lost technologies. The plan had been set in motion years ago, long before the Galactic Council had even considered Earth a threat. A group of scientists, engineers, and military strategists had worked together in secret to unlock the mysteries of this lost civilization. They had painstakingly reconstructed ancient machines, weapons, and ships, and they had done so under the radar of the rest of the galaxy. And now, as the Council's ships began to orbit the planet, the time had come. Earth's greatest weapon, its hidden power, was about to be unleashed. The first sign of humanity's hidden strength came in the form of a single signal. A strange, pulsing energy wave spread out from the planet's core, and the Galactic Council's ships began to flicker and lose their connection to their home base. The first waves of the Council's attack fell silent, as their sensors and communication systems were suddenly overwhelmed by the mysterious energy coming from Earth. In the heart of Earth's military command center, panic began to spread. The world had no idea what was happening, but the officers at the top of the chain of command understood one thing: the Council had underestimated Earth. The signal had been a warning. The first strike had failed. The warships that had once seemed invincible were now under attack by a force that they couldn't even comprehend. As the Galactic Council's fleets struggled to regain their control, humanity's scientists worked feverishly to stabilize their ancient technologies. They had created a network of defenses that had long been dormant, hidden deep underground. Now, they were slowly coming to life. Earth's hidden arsenal was revealed bit by bit. Massive, dormant machines that had been buried for centuries began to power up. Old underground facilities came to life with energy that had been lost to history. Across the globe, ancient battle stations, once thought to be useless ruins, began to hum with new power. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for years without anyone knowing. The message sent to the Galactic Council was clear: Earth was not an easy target, and humanity was not a species to be underestimated. The Council, in their arrogance, had assumed that Earth would crumble beneath their might, but they had failed to realize that Earth's people had a will to survive, and the power to make that survival a reality. But there was more. In the shadows of Earth's vast military network, a small team of humans had discovered something truly extraordinary, the key to activating the ancient warships that had once sailed the stars. These ships were unlike any other. They were huge, heavily armed, and built to withstand the fury of galactic wars. These warships had been dormant for millennia, but they had been designed for one purpose: to defend Earth from threats far beyond the stars. The first of these ancient ships slowly emerged from beneath the ocean's surface. Its massive form rose from the depths, carrying with it a fearsome power. The ship was a relic, a symbol of Earth's forgotten past. As it broke through the surface and ascended into the sky, its weapons systems powered up, ready for battle. It was a message to the Galactic Council. Earth would not be an easy conquest. The world watched in awe as this massive ancient dreadnought soared into the sky, accompanied by a fleet of smaller, yet equally powerful ships. It was a sight that no one had ever expected to see. A fleet of Earth's own, ancient but mighty, rising to defend their planet against an enemy that thought it could crush them without effort. The Galactic Council, watching from orbit, was stunned. They had sent fleets to Earth, expecting a quick victory. But now, they saw something they could never have imagined. Earth's hidden strength had awakened, and humanity was ready to fight back. As the first wave of attacks from the Galactic Council came crashing down, humanity's hidden power was finally revealed. The fight for Earth had begun, and the galaxy was about to witness the rise of a species that refused to be conquered. What the Council did not know was that Earth had only just begun to fight. They had underestimated humanity's will to survive, and they had no idea just how powerful the people of Earth could be when they were pushed to the edge. The final battle for Earth's freedom had started, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The air above Earth was thick with tension. The Galactic Council's massive warships hovered in orbit, their menacing shadows casting an ominous pall over the planet. They had assumed that Earth would be an easy conquest, but they were learning the hard way that humanity was not to be underestimated. From the surface, it appeared that Earth was on the brink of collapse. The cities were in disarray, the military forces struggling to organize a coherent defense. The enemy fleet, so vast and powerful, seemed unstoppable. Yet, beneath the surface, something extraordinary was unfolding. The ancient dreadnoughts, relics of Earth's forgotten past, continued to rise from their hidden bunkers. One by one, they emerged from the oceans, from deep beneath the ground, and from the deserts, massive warships that had not seen the light of day for millennia. Their weapon systems were a marvel, capable of taking on the most formidable enemies the galaxy had ever known. But the most incredible part was not just the ships themselves. It was the people behind them. Earth's military had rallied like never before, but it was the civilians who made the true difference. Engineers, scientists, and even former astronauts had joined the fight. They were all part of the great effort to harness the forgotten technologies that would keep their world safe. The first dreadnought to rise from the ocean, known as the Titan, was a sight that sent chills down the spines of everyone watching. This ship wasn't just a weapon. It was a symbol. It was proof that Earth had been holding back its true strength, waiting for the moment to strike. The Titan was massive, its hull covered in ancient symbols and alien technology, an unyielding testament to humanity's survival instincts. As the Titan took to the skies, it was accompanied by a fleet of smaller ships, each one capable of holding its own against the Council's most advanced forces. These ships, too, were born from the secrets of Earth's past, built with technology that was far more advanced than anything the Galactic Council had ever seen. Earth's strength wasn't just in its weapons. It was in the ingenuity of its people, who had managed to adapt and evolve beyond the limitations of the galaxy's expectations. The warships of the Galactic Council, which had once seemed unstoppable, now found themselves outmatched. Their own advanced weaponry, capable of obliterating entire planets, was struggling to make a dent in the newly awakened Earth fleet. The Titan and its fleet moved with purpose, cutting through the void of space with deadly precision. Back on the planet's surface, humanity began to regroup. Cities that had been devastated by the initial attacks were now rallying points for the people. Shelters were built, resources were mobilized, and the war effort spread across every corner of Earth. The Galactic Council had underestimated the people of this small, seemingly insignificant planet, but the Council had no idea what they were up against. In underground bunkers, scientists worked tirelessly to refine the ancient technology that had powered the dreadnoughts. They decoded data from centuries-old archives, uncovering new advancements that could tilt the balance of power in their favor. The Galactic Council might have the numbers, but Earth now had the surprise, the technology, and most importantly, the will to fight. The world watched as the first real clash between Earth and the Galactic Council unfolded. The Titan fired its first volley at a Council cruiser, sending shockwaves through the enemy ranks. The battle that ensued was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. The Galactic Fleet, once so confident in their victory, now found themselves in a battle for survival. As the battle raged on, Earth's forces pushed forward, each victory strengthening their resolve. The Titan and its fleet became symbols of hope to the people. The once silent threat of Earth's hidden power was now a roaring force, and the Galactic Council had no choice but to face it head-on. In the command centers, both on Earth and within the Council's fleets, the message was clear. Earth was no longer an easy target. The Council had underestimated the determination of humanity, and they were paying the price for it. Each strike from Earth's ancient warships shook the very foundations of the Galactic Empire, and the people of Earth realized they were no longer just fighting for survival. They were fighting for a new future, one where they could determine their own fate. As Earth's forces gained ground, the Galactic Council began to question their own assumptions. They had underestimated humanity's resilience, and now they were on the defensive. The tide of war was shifting, and the once untouchable empire was beginning to realize that Earth was no longer just a small planet in the far reaches of the galaxy. In every corner of the world, people watched as the battle continued. The fear that had once gripped the planet was slowly replaced with a sense of hope. Humanity was rising, not just to defend their home, but to show the galaxy what they were truly capable of. The first phase of the war had been a wake-up call for the Galactic Council. Now they would learn that humanity had always been prepared for this moment. Earth would not fall. Earth would fight, and it would win. The war was far from over, but humanity had made one thing clear. They would not be taken easily. The final victory was still ahead, and Earth's strength had only begun to show itself. The Galactic Council had no idea what was coming next. The battle raged across the stars, the heavens themselves trembling with the force of each strike from Earth's ancient dreadnoughts. The Galactic Council had thought they could crush humanity with a single blow, but they were learning the hard way that this was no ordinary foe. Humanity had been underestimated, and now, with every passing moment, they were proving just how much they had hidden in the depths of their world. Earth's fleet, once thought to be a relic of the past, now moved with incredible precision. The Titan led the charge, its massive weapons firing with unrelenting power, cutting through the Council's ships like a hot knife through butter. The Galactic Fleet, once so formidable, was now caught off guard, struggling to adapt to the unexpected might of humanity's war machines. In the vastness of space, humanity's forces fought with a ferocity that the Galactic Council had never encountered before. The people of Earth, from all walks of life, had rallied together, working hand in hand to ensure the survival of their world. Engineers, soldiers, scientists, and civilians alike were all part of the effort to push back the invaders. The rise of Earth's fleet had sparked a fire of unity that spread like wildfire, and each battle won brought the people of Earth closer together. But the Council was not going to back down so easily. With each loss, they grew more desperate, and soon they began to adapt, launching counterattacks with ruthless efficiency. Their advanced fleets formed tighter formations, using their superior numbers to try to overwhelm Earth's ships. But Earth's forces, equipped with technology that had been hidden for centuries, were more than a match for the Council's tactics. The Titan remained the centerpiece of the battle. Its weapons continued to unleash devastating blasts, each shot tearing apart the enemy's most advanced cruisers. But it wasn't just the weapons that made the ship so formidable. It was the ingenuity behind it. The humans had taken ancient technology and made it their own, incorporating it with modern advancements. The Titan wasn't just a weapon. It was a statement, a symbol of humanity's ability to rise from the ashes and fight back. On the surface of Earth, the world's major cities had become command centers. The people no longer feared the Galactic Council. Instead, they embraced the fight, knowing that their survival depended on it. New alliances were formed, resources mobilized, and a sense of hope spread across the planet. Earth wasn't just defending itself. It was sending a message to the galaxy. Humanity was not to be trifled with. As the Council launched wave after wave of attacks, Earth's fleet adapted. The ships had been designed to withstand any assault, and their crews were learning how to exploit weaknesses in the Council's tactics. Earth's warriors were as resourceful as they were determined, and the tide of the battle began to shift in their favor. The Galactic Council had underestimated the resilience of humanity, and now they were paying the price. Each victory for Earth was a crushing blow to the Council's once unstoppable force. But the Council wasn't ready to give up just yet. They sent their most elite battalions to the front lines, hoping to tip the scales in their favor. However, these elite units were met with the same fierce resistance that had already pushed back their fleets. As the battle continued, Earth's fleet became even more effective. New strategies were implemented, and the ship's weapon systems grew even more powerful. The Titan had been the first of the dreadnoughts to emerge, but now others followed. Each new ship was an extension of humanity's ingenuity. Ancient warships reawakened with advanced technology, each one capable of holding off the mightiest fleets the galaxy had to offer. Humanity was proving that it was not just a small, weak planet on the fringes of the galaxy. It was a force to be reckoned with. And as Earth's ships pushed forward, one victory after another, the Galactic Council began to realize that they had made a grave mistake. They had thought that Earth was nothing more than a primitive world, one that would crumble under the weight of their superior technology. But they had miscalculated. In the heat of battle, Earth's military leadership remained calm. The generals and strategists had studied the enemy, learned from each engagement, and refined their tactics. The enemy, on the other hand, was being stretched thin. As Earth's forces gained ground, they began to push the Council's fleet back, one sector at a time. Earth's fleet was faster, more flexible, and more determined than anything the Council had encountered before. On Earth's surface, the war effort was only growing stronger. Civilians worked tirelessly to rebuild cities, to forge new weapons, and to support the soldiers on the front lines. The war was no longer just a battle for survival. It was a battle for freedom, for the right to exist as a sovereign nation. The people of Earth knew what was at stake, and they fought with everything they had. The Galactic Council's arrogance had blinded them to humanity's potential. Now they were facing the consequences of their actions. As Earth's fleet closed in on the Council's remaining forces, the message was clear. Humanity would not go down without a fight. The battle was far from over. But Earth had proven one thing. They would never be defeated. And the Galactic Council would soon learn that underestimating humanity had been the greatest mistake of their lives. With each victory, the fire of hope grew brighter. Earth was fighting for its future, and it was showing the galaxy that no matter how dark the days seemed, humanity would rise. As Earth's fleet advanced further into the vast expanse of space, the Galactic Council began to experience the full weight of humanity's resilience. They had expected the battle to be short, a mere formality to crush a primitive world and remind the galaxy of its dominance. But now, in the midst of the chaos, they were beginning to realize just how wrong they had been. Earth was no longer a distant, forgotten planet. It had become a force one that would not easily be silenced. The Titan continued to lead the charge, cutting a path through the Council's remaining defenses. Its weapons tore through enemy ships with brutal efficiency, leaving behind shattered hulls and burning debris. But the Titan was not alone. Humanity's fleet, now fully mobilized, had grown in strength and number. What had once been a handful of ships was now a fleet of hundreds, each vessel a testament to human ingenuity and determination. The once proud Council fleet, which had boasted superior technology and numbers, was now fighting on the defensive. The shock of Earth's unexpected resistance had sent ripples through the ranks of the Galactic Council, causing confusion and disarray. No one had anticipated that the humans, a seemingly primitive species, would be capable of this kind of warfare. The Council's leaders were scrambling to find a way to stop Earth's relentless advance. Humanity's forces, however, were relentless. With each victory, Earth's warriors grew more confident. The soldiers aboard the ships, many of them veterans of countless battles, knew what was at stake. They were fighting for their families, for their planet, and for their very survival. This was no longer just a battle for control of space. It was a fight for the future of humanity. The Council's leadership was in turmoil. Some of their generals suggested surrender, but others refused to even consider such a notion. They had built their empire on domination, and they would not allow a small, insignificant world to be the one to bring them to their knees. The orders came down to continue the fight, to send reinforcements from every corner of their empire. Yet, even as they did, they knew deep down that humanity's determination was unlike anything they had encountered before. Back on Earth, the war effort was intensifying. People from every corner of the planet were joining the fight. Scientists worked around the clock, developing new weapons and technology to aid the fleet. Engineers rebuilt ships that had been damaged, ensuring they could keep fighting. Civilians supported the military, ensuring that no resources were wasted. It was an all-hands-on-deck situation, and the people of Earth were united in a way that no one had ever seen before. But the war was not without its challenges. Earth's fleet, while formidable, was still outnumbered. The Council had vast resources at their disposal, and they were not going to back down easily. New waves of enemy ships arrived daily, each one more advanced than the last. The Council was adapting quickly, learning from their mistakes, and using their superior numbers to try to overwhelm Earth's fleet. The battle was becoming more difficult with every passing hour. Yet, humanity did not falter. As the tide of war shifted back and forth, the leadership of Earth's fleet remained calm. They had learned to think strategically, to anticipate the Council's moves, and to strike where the enemy least expected it. Every engagement, every battle, brought new knowledge and experience, and with it, new tactics. Humanity's ability to adapt was proving to be their greatest strength. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council was growing more desperate. With each defeat, their morale crumbled further. The thought of losing to a world they had once considered insignificant was too much to bear. They sent their elite units to the front lines, their best commanders to lead the charge. But even these experienced warriors were no match for the resourcefulness of Earth's forces. In the midst of the chaos, a new weapon emerged, one that would change the course of the war. The humans had developed a technology capable of disabling entire fleets with a single strike. It was still in its early stages, but the first successful test had been a game-changer. The weapon, still shrouded in secrecy, was being prepared for use in the coming days. If it worked as expected, it could turn the tide of the war once and for all. As Earth's fleet continued to press forward, the Council was beginning to understand the true meaning of the broadcast they had received so long ago. This is your end, not ours. The message had been a warning, a declaration that humanity was not a species to be ignored. They had underestimated Earth, and now they were paying the price. The final confrontation was drawing near, and neither side was willing to back down. The Council's fleet, though battered, was determined to put an end to humanity's uprising. But Earth's fleet, though smaller, was fueled by an unshakable resolve. This was more than a battle for territory. It was a battle for survival. Humanity had proven that they could stand toe-to-toe with the most powerful empire in the galaxy, and now they would show the Council that they were not only capable of fighting back, but of winning. The stage was set for the final battle, and the outcome remained uncertain. But one thing was clear: Earth was no longer the underdog. It was a force to be reckoned with, and the Galactic Council would soon learn that humanity's greatest strength was not just in its weapons, but in its unbreakable spirit. The war had reached its critical point. Earth's fleet, though battered and bruised, was still pushing forward, determined to claim victory despite the overwhelming odds. The Galactic Council, once confident in its superiority, was now reeling from the unexpected strength of humanity. With each passing day, the humans grew stronger, their resolve more unyielding. What had once been a desperate struggle had become a full-scale war, with both sides locked in a fierce battle for dominance. On the front lines, Earth's fleet continued to face wave after wave of Council reinforcements. The odds were stacked against them, but the humans refused to give in. In the heart of every battle, the command officers of the fleet could hear the rallying cry of their people: never back down, never surrender. These words weren't just a slogan. They were a promise that humanity would fight to the bitter end, no matter the cost. The Galactic Council, in its arrogance, had underestimated humanity. The humans had adapted quickly, learning from every engagement, using every defeat as an opportunity to grow stronger. They had devised new tactics, new technologies, and new strategies that the Council had never seen before. The humans had discovered a way to outmaneuver their enemies, using their intelligence and resourcefulness to gain the upper hand. Back on Earth, the people were rallying together in a way that the Council could not have anticipated. Every man, woman, and child was contributing in some way to the war effort. Engineers were working tirelessly in factories, building new ships and weapons at an unprecedented rate. Scientists were unlocking the secrets of the galaxy's advanced technology, turning it into their own. Civilians were volunteering to join the fight, taking up arms and becoming soldiers in defense of their planet. It was a world united in purpose, a world determined to survive. Despite the relentless pressure from the Council's forces, humanity refused to break. The enemy had superior numbers, advanced technology, and the backing of a vast empire. But the humans had something the Council could not match: unwavering determination. Every time the humans were pushed back, they regrouped, reorganized, and came back stronger. Their will to fight was unshakable, and it inspired everyone who joined the battle. In the heart of the battle, Earth's fleet commander, Admiral Marcus Reed, stood at the helm of the Titan, the flagship of Earth's forces. He had seen it all: the countless battles, the lives lost, the pain of war. But through it all, he had never wavered. He knew that the fate of humanity rested on his shoulders. He knew that the fight they were engaged in was not just for survival, but for the future of the entire species. The Council had no idea what they were up against. As the battle raged on, Reed gave the order for a bold move. Humanity's fleet was going to strike directly at the heart of the Council's command. It was a risky maneuver, but Reed knew that it was their best chance at ending the war once and for all. They had gathered intelligence about the Council's central command ship, a massive vessel that held the key to their entire fleet's operations. If they could destroy it, they could cripple the Council's ability to fight back. The fleet surged forward, with the Titan leading the charge. Enemy ships closed in on all sides, but Earth's fleet pushed through, weapons firing with deadly precision. The Titan cut through the oncoming ships, its advanced weaponry tearing them apart in seconds. The crew aboard the Titan fought with the same relentless spirit as their fellow soldiers. They were not just defending their home, they were fighting for their future. The closer they got to the Council's command ship, the more dangerous the battle became. The enemy was throwing everything they had at them, but the humans refused to back down. Reed's heart pounded in his chest as the Titan reached the final stretch of the journey, knowing that this was the moment that would define the outcome of the war. In the midst of the chaos, A strange signal interrupted their communication systems. It was a message from the Council, sent directly to the humans. You cannot win. You are outmatched, outnumbered, and outclassed. Your efforts are futile. The words echoed through the ship's speakers, but Reed's response was immediate. We've heard your threats before, but this time, it's not your words that will decide the outcome. It's our will. With that, the final assault began. Earth's fleet launched a full-on attack, sending wave after wave of fighters and bombers toward the Council's command ship. The Titan fired its devastating cannons, and the Council's ship was soon engulfed in flames. The enemy fleet scrambled to regroup, but it was too late. Humanity had once again proven that they were not to be underestimated. As the dust settled and the smoke cleared, the Galactic Council realized that they were not fighting against a helpless species. They were fighting against an unstoppable force, one that had risen from the depths of desperation to become a true power in the galaxy. Humanity had proven that they would not be controlled, that they would not be defeated. And with that, the tide of the war shifted irrevocably in their favor. The Galactic Council had thought they could crush Earth. They had believed that the humans were weak, inferior, and no match for their empire. But they had learned the hard way that humanity's greatest strength was not in its technology or numbers, but in its refusal to give up. The war was far from over, but one thing was certain. Earth was no longer just a small, insignificant world. It had become a force to be reckoned with, and the Galactic Council had no choice but to face that reality. As Reed stood on the bridge of the Titan, watching the flames of victory rise in the distance, he couldn't help but smile. The battle was won, but the war was far from over, and Earth would be ready for whatever came next. The victory at the Council's command ship had changed everything. The Galactic Council, once a symbol of unrivaled power, now found itself struggling to maintain control over its empire. The crushing defeat had sent shockwaves through the ranks, leaving the once indomitable rulers of the galaxy questioning their own superiority. Earth had not only survived, they had thrived, and now they were more dangerous than ever. Admiral Marcus Reed knew this was a pivotal moment for humanity. Their victory over the Council's fleet was not just a tactical win, it was a statement. It was a message to every empire in the galaxy that Earth was not to be underestimated. Humanity had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, they could rise to the challenge and emerge victorious. The fear that had once permeated Earth's existence had been replaced with an unshakable confidence. Back on Earth, celebrations broke out across the planet. News of the victory spread like wildfire, and for the first time in decades, humanity felt a sense of hope. The war had brought them together, united in their common cause, and now they were stronger than ever before. The war had shown the world what they were capable of, what they could achieve when they set their minds to it. But while Earth celebrated, the Galactic Council was in turmoil. The Council members, once secure in their belief that they were invincible, now found themselves scrambling to maintain control. Their fleets were shattered, their command systems crippled, and their morale shattered. In the wake of the human victory, they knew they had a choice to make: either regroup and continue fighting, or surrender to a species that had just shown them the full extent of their power. The Council chose the former. They would not be defeated by a lesser species, but their resolve only served to heighten the determination of humanity. Earth's leaders knew this was far from over. The Council may have lost the battle, but the war was still ongoing, and humanity's greatest challenge was yet to come. On Earth, Admiral Reed stood on the bridge of the Titan, gazing out into the vastness of space. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. His fleet was battered, but not broken. There was still much to do. He could feel the weight of the responsibility on his shoulders. Earth had become the symbol of resistance, the hope of the oppressed, and the beacon of light in a galaxy overshadowed by fear and tyranny. And now, it was up to him to guide humanity through the next phase of their struggle. The Galactic Council was regrouping, rebuilding its forces, and plotting their next move. Earth was aware of this, and they were preparing in turn. But this time, things would be different. Humanity would no longer be the underdog, fighting for survival against impossible odds. They had a taste of victory, and they wouldn't let go. Admiral Reed's thoughts were interrupted by a transmission from Earth's command center. A voice crackled over the comms, urgent and determined. "Admiral, we've just received word from the Galactic Resistance. They're asking for a meeting." Reed raised an eyebrow, intrigued. The Galactic Resistance had been a small faction of planets, isolated and fighting for freedom against the Council's oppressive rule. But now, after humanity's victory, the Resistance was gaining strength. They were no longer scattered and fractured. They had become a powerful force in the galaxy, and they were looking to Earth for leadership. Reed turned to the communications officer. "Set up the meeting. We've got work to do." As the transmission began, Reed could sense a shift in the galaxy. Humanity's victory had sparked something far larger than just a single battle. It had sparked a movement. The Resistance was growing, and Earth was now at the center of it. The Galactic Council had made a grave mistake in underestimating humanity, and now they would face the full consequences of their actions. The meeting with the Galactic Resistance was brief but impactful. Their leaders, a coalition of planets that had long suffered under the Council's tyranny, expressed their desire for an alliance with Earth. They saw humanity's strength, and they knew that together they could challenge the Council in ways they never could alone. The humans were hesitant, knowing that an alliance with the Resistance would mean more conflict, more war. But they also understood that the stakes had changed. The galaxy was no longer a place where they could remain neutral. The fight for freedom had become their fight, and the only way to ensure a future for their children, their planet, and their allies was to stand together. Reed stood firm, his voice resolute. "We'll fight with you. Together, we can bring down the Galactic Council once and for all." As the meeting concluded, the human fleet received word that the Galactic Council was mobilizing its forces, preparing for an all-out war. The tension in the air was palpable. The coming days would test the limits of Earth's strength and resolve. They had won a great victory, but the true test was still ahead. Earth's leaders gathered in the war room, their faces grim but determined. The decision had been made. The Galactic Resistance would unite with Earth, and together they would prepare for the greatest battle the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Reed knew that this war would be the defining moment for humanity. The Council had underestimated them once. They would not make that mistake again. The war for the galaxy's future was about to reach its climax, and humanity would stand tall, ready to face whatever came next. The rise of humanity had only just begun, and their greatest challenges were still to come. The galaxy would learn, as the Council had, that humans were not to be underestimated.